Hi, I'm Mary Forsyth with Kingdom Living Ministries, and thanks for joining me for Take 5 today. I want to read a passage, couple verses, two verses out of the Passions Translation, and it's Psalm 32, 8 and 9. I hear the Lord saying, I will stay close to you, instructing and guiding you along the pathway for your life. I will advise you along the way and lead you forth with my eyes as your guide. So don't make it difficult. Don't be stubborn when I take you where you've not been before. Don't make me tug on you and pull you along. Just come with me. I just think that this is a time that we get to practice hearing the voice of God. When we feel, and there's multitude of ways that God speaks to us, and if you want a deeper dive in hearing God's voice, there's many resources out, and I'll be putting out a Take 5 in the next couple of weeks, specifically on hearing the voice of the Lord, because we're all hungry to hear Him. But I believe that this is a time to practice hearing, to tune in and practice our perception and our awareness and mindfulness when God speaks. You know, for example, with Jeremiah, he would say, Jeremiah, look over there. What do you see? And he would see an almond branch and then get a word of the Lord. What was God saying through that almond branch? And let me say this. We say all the time, or many people say, well, God said, or I heard the Lord, or, you know, I like to say it this way. God rarely speaks, but He's almost always communicating. Because when we hear that word speak, we think words and sounds. But have you ever been out in nature and you just saw a beautiful sunset and you felt God just sharing the beauty of His creation with you? That was, quote unquote, hearing God, or God was communicating with you. And He's a creative genius, so He can speak in so many ways. I was telling a friend the other day, I was just remembering the very early days when I was practicing hearing God. I was incarcerated, and we would meet. There was a group of us called the Remnant Group, and we'd meet every Saturday at a certain location, and I would have to hear the Lord on where we should meet, because we would get in trouble, and with the possibility of getting thrown in solitary confinement if we were caught. And I would get this sense, oh, we should meet just left of the chapel. And as soon as we would get released from our prison cells for that period of time for a quote unquote break, I would get the word out before then, and we would all meet there. And those were those early days of learning to hear God's voice, and I still practice today. I mean, there are many times I feel unctions to go to a certain store first instead of a second store, and then maybe there's someone there I can help. You know, living with God in your everyday life, knowing that He's with you, knowing that He's guiding you by His eye. I love that part of that passage, because it means that He wants to, help us be so aware that when He just turns His eyes that way, we know that's the direction we need to go. There's not, an angel with a paper hat and a flaming sword isn't needed to get me to go that way. And here's a key. This is also in the passage. It says, because I want to take you some places you haven't been before. Wow. I love that. You know, life with God is a grand adventure. Just like in Joshua, it says, you're about to go somewhere you've never been before. I believe many of us are at that intersection where we're hearing God's voice, but it's a little scary because it's things we haven't heard before. We're being prompted to do things maybe we've never done before. The Holy Spirit is leading and guiding us into the new. And every path He puts you on leads to life. So I want to encourage you. You're not going to get it right all the time. That's not what it's about, hearing God, but it's about stepping out and partnering with God. When He asks you to pay for that couple's meal at the restaurant, and you're maybe tight on money yourself, but you just feel that overwhelming unction to be generous towards those people, that's when you move. generosity and joy and kindness. You know, in the environment that we're living, we have a tendency to pull in and shut down and hold back, when really rivers of living water are going to be flowing through us as we hear the voice of our Father and the voice of a stranger we don't listen to, and we move out into new territory in these days. So I want to encourage you, step out on what you believe the Lord is leading you to do, and let's all get to the place where we're just so partnering with Him that He can just look a certain way, and that's the way we go. So Father, help us increase in discernment and mindfulness of how you're communicating to us, whether it be through symbols or Bible verses or people or just the multitude of creative ways. Help us to be open for your voice in these days. All right. Hope this was a blessing. Have a great day.